Good afternoon. Welcome to the Above Board Chamber's first celebrity chef creation. We are so excited. We have lots of people joining us, and lots of people need to learn how to cook because lots of people are stuck in their house. So this is so exciting because we miss our chefs, we miss our restaurants, and we want to make sure we can bring them into our home, which we're never able to do that. So we're very, very excited. People that are here for the first time, welcome to the Above Board Chambers program. People that are members, thank you. What we do is we meet people in Lee and Cuyler County each month. We do panels of experts to teach business topics. Because what's going on with the virus, we can't do that anymore. So what we do is we do webinars each month. We do 2 or 3 every single month. We do business webinars, but now we're going to do something fun in addition, and that's to teach us all how to cook and meet some phenomenal cooks. I'm getting hungry just looking at those two cooks up at the top. Look at the table. This is what we're going to do today. This is going to be a lot of fun. But we're able to do these things because we have wonderful sponsors. So I want to introduce a good friend of mine and a longtime member of the Above Board Chamber is Janet Moore. Janet Moore is a risk consulting at BKS Partners. Janet, thank you for being our sponsor, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Jeannie. It's our pleasure to sponsor this meeting. I feel like this webinar is cutting edge, unintended, and BKS is definitely cutting edge. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm dating myself now, but those of you who remember Father Knows Best, Robert, he was in the insurance business, and this is what most people think of when they think of an insurance agent. The older white guy in a dark suit, white shirt, black tie, conservative. And I've worked for this guy pretty much all my life. Then my firm got bought by BKS Insurance last year, and here's who I work for now. 2 of the founding partners are women. I'm telling you, I'm having the time of my life. It's fabulous. They're very, very progressive. Our corporate headquarters are located in Tampa. We have offices in many states. I'm in Fort Myers. We each have expertise in certain areas, and I can tell you that we each stay in our lane. So I work with mostly large commercial businesses, but we have departments for everybody. So Main Street business, employee benefits, personal insurance, family office for those who have affluence in their family, and Medicare supplements. So those people in those divisions only do that every day, day in, day out. The insurance business is far too complicated to try to do it all anymore. And so we're very, very successful at each of us having our own expertise. So that's what I wanted you to know. No longer the dark suits, the BKS little polo shirts is what we're wearing now. And it's a fun place to be. And my colleagues are awesome, and we do wonderful things for our clients. So that's really what I wanted you to know about BKS, and we're very happy to be here today. Thank you, Jeannie.
Janet, if somebody were to want to get a hold of you, what is the phone number they can call?
They can call me at 239-565-1422. That's my cell phone, and I can get you in touch with pretty much whatever your concern is, somebody who knows.
Well, thank you very much. And you were on our panel last month with the insurance people, and the information was excellent. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you.
With us and for being part of the Above Board Chamber. So thank you, Janet. Now I want to introduce you to another one of my BFFs who is amazing and does so much for so many people in our community, and that is Connie Ramos Williams. Connie is our special co-host today. So we're excited to have her because she knows all these restaurants better than I do. And she is very, very close to the one that we're going to bring up next. But Connie, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Well, Conrick PR and Marketing is the company that I founded back in 2007. Our company is a comprehensive organization full of a team of professionals that do everything from graphic design, content writing, website development, social media, and you name it. And we have the honor of getting to work with some very unique clientele, just like the Above Board Chamber, Jeannie Sweeney, and chefs Ben and Fabrice over at Fathoms and Gather. Hello over there. We get to work with them as well, and many other great clients throughout our Southwest Florida community and across the state of Florida. Today, I am honored to get to be part of this. This is exciting. Three sets, you know, the team over at Gather and Fathoms, Carrie Ralston, Brian Roland. What an incredible group of people we're going to learn how to cook some extraordinary recipes from today. This is the first time, I think, in Southwest Florida we've done anything like this, Jeannie, on Zoom, where we have an interactive cooking session with some of the best chefs right here in Southwest Florida.
And it's exciting. And we are blessed to have you because you do our website. So if anybody looks at the Above Board Chamber website, know that it comes from the house of Connie PR Marketing with Mr. Javier, who's down there on the bottom, which he really actually moves, but right now he doesn't seem to be. But we're excited. So Connie, we have good friends of yours that you have brought into this program today, and we are so excited. You want to tell us a little bit about them and what they're going to do for us today?
Absolutely. In the window, you can see here, in fact, I'll have you wave, Chef Fabrice Delatrain and Benjamin Bossen is with us today. They have been with the founders and owners of Fathoms in Cape Harbor, Gather in Tarpon Point, Black Salt Culinary, as well as the French Press over in Cape Harbor. 4 incredible businesses that these geniuses started here in the Cape Coral, Southwest Florida area. And they have catered many of my parties, for work parties, my 50th birthday party some time ago. They are extraordinary. So to have them on the Above Board Chamber Zoom meeting today to share their recipe for Caribbean jerk shrimp is already making my mouth water. I wish I had some right here. I'd like to jump right through the Zoom and be part of the cooking session right over there with you. But I'm glad that our guests today get to do that. So some of our guests have gone out and purchased the things on your menu, on your recipe, the shrimp and the ingredients and everything, and we'll be cooking along with you today. And the rest of us are just going to be mouth-watering over here, wishing we were there, getting to taste some of this. So without further ado, Jeannie, should we get them started?
I think you should.
All right.
People are ready to cook. I hope everybody's in their kitchen.
We're going to go ahead and start off with their presentation, and then when they're done, we'll go ahead and switch over to Carrie and then Brian. So get ready, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you for having us. First of all, it's great to do something like this, something a little bit different. So like you said, we are going to do a famous Caribbean shrimp here. So there's many things that you can prep in advance at your house too, but we'll go through those steps as we go. So it's a great dish. We run it on the summer menu, on the winter menu. It's something that people keep coming back for. It's got a little bit of spiciness, but the pineapple give a little bit of sweetness to it, so it's a great balance. So for the one that's going to do the recipe with us, I'm sure that you have everything. Of course, you know, you're going to need some beautiful shrimp. Right here, we're using some 1620 Gulf shrimp, so it's a nice size. You're going to need some butter. You're going to need some lime, the zest, and the juice, some fresh cilantro, a little bit of Caribbean jerk seasoning, some cayenne pepper that's going to add a little more spiciness to it, and some white wine. And so you can do a couple things there. You can do your butter in advance. That's what we do here at the restaurant. So what we do, we make our compound butter with all the ingredients. So that's how it looks with all the seasoning and everything. So we're gonna pretty much show you how to do that. But you know, of course, you're not gonna have time to do that butter first. So we'll do the dish, adding that butter to the dish as we go. So, Chef Ben, I got my assistant Chef Ben here.
There you go. So we're gonna start doing that butter out the way that we do it to get something like that. It's for us, we do it for the restaurant like that. It's we know that 2 slices go in a 1 portion, so it's portion control and everything, so make it way more easy. So the thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna use the butter. Okay, so it's a soft butter. We call that beurre pomade. Very easy to use actually to give a good texture.
You want to keep that butter probably a good hour outside before you use it, so it's easy to mix together.
We're gonna add some jerk seasoning.
Cut that little line here. Well, first,
Pinch of the cayenne pepper. Okay, and we're gonna start, working that butter.
you guys have that tool. It's a zester, pretty handy to grate everything here. So just gonna grate a little bit of that lime zest into that butter.
It's good.
Fresh lime zest. And then I'll just cut my lime in half to get some of the juice. So I'm sure everyone's got this at home when it's time to make margarita. You want to have that handy. Okay.
So we just work the butter. Okay. We're gonna add some salt and pepper too. We work it.
And again, if we go too fast or something, just let us know. I'm sure there's a chat thing for salt here and some fresh garlic. Okay. If you guys have any question as we go,
No questions so
No.
far.
There we go. I
What's
see that we have some. It's on audio, and then we can see the chat. I guess when people say something,
Yep.
there we go. We can see what they say. So Chef Ben is mixing all the ingredients right now. We have the compound butter, lime juice, lime zest, Caribbean jerk seasoning, some fresh garlic. Any kind. Here we have a spice person that make all the spices for us. I'm not sure about brands, but I'm sure any jerk seasoning that you can find at your local store should be okay. What was after the salt? Again, in that butter, we have garlic, cilantro, lime zest, lime juice, the butter, salt, pepper, and Chef Ben, did you add a little bit of cayenne pepper? Okay, so we'll go this way here. So that is what you can prep at home.
Chef,
Yep.
can you go a little bit slower because they're starting to ask questions? Somebody wanted to know what was after the salt, so just talk a little slower.
Yeah, we'll go slower. We just answer. So it was a little garlic, I think, and that was the thing I said after the salt.
Garlic and
Lime juice, lime zest.
So, and here that the way, so you can get a piece of parchment paper, and the thing that we do, we roll it. Okay. Like that again. For that is for us to our portion control. So the thing that we do, we roll the stuff like that, try to get like a sausage link. Okay, and after that we put it back, and something that can be freeze. So you can do, for example, a full block of butter. You freeze it, and you have it for a couple of recipes.
So we're gonna use the same butter, so like this, guys.
So you have something like that you can freeze, and after that, when it's frozen, you just cut small pieces to put in your recipe.
And there's so many things you can do. The base of a Maitre d' butter like this, we call it in France. There's so many different flavors that you can use. There's the same basic recipe, like when you make, for example, escargot, and you make your garlic butter. You always can prep your butter in advance like this. And like this, you have it prior your recipe, so it's easier to get all the flavor already in there. Any other question we had?
Somebody said 8 raw peeled and deveined jumbo shrimp, right?
How many? Well, after that, the good thing about that recipe is, you can do it for 1, for 2, for 3, for a family style. So right here for that recipe, I think we're using 8 shrimp. 8 shrimp, so it's a good amount for a portion a little bit bigger than just an appetizer. Otherwise, if you want to do it lower, you just do it, 4 shrimp. All depends, if you're very hungry. For me, I'll do 10 shrimp. That's me. Okay, so we're gonna start cooking. So we're gonna bring our shrimp here. We have our butter right there. I'm gonna get my white wine. Get a little bit of bread. And no, that's, you know, the beauty of that dish is when you're done eating all those shrimp, you still have a good remaining amount of that beautiful juice from the butter and the white wine and all those spices. So you want to have a little bread to do a little dipping. So we're using some baguette, and what we're going to do, you know, you can toast it at home in your oven or in your toaster just to give it a little crisp. So here I'm just going to put it on our grill just to give it a little bit of toasted. All right, so cilantro.
I need somebody here. Can you give it to her? She's leaving. Yeah.
So the thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna start with some olive oil, base of everything that we do, a little bit of that.
So we're gonna season our shrimp too. So you can use a little more of that Caribbean jerk seasoning. You know, it's not gonna hurt anything, just to give the shrimp a little bit more of that, you know, flavor, the island flavor. And we're gonna start with make sure I don't burn my bread. So we're gonna make sure you start with a hot pan, okay? You always wanna have a hot pan so you can get a good sear. I got my pineapple, I got a little more of cilantro. I love cooking with cilantro, give a lot of extra flavor. Alright, so we're gonna sear our shrimp. And again, you let me know if we go too fast. So you wanna sear those on both sides. Right.
So that is very important part of it. Okay? To sear it nicely, to get the perfect texture of the shrimp.
My bread is toasted here. So you see you got your butter ready to go right there. Toasted. Everybody doing good so far?
Yeah, let us know if you go back.
I'm gonna flip my shrimp. We're gonna put them on a little bit on that side for a moment, and then we're gonna deglaze them with our white wine. So what's gonna happen is the white wine's gonna evaporate a little bit, and then we'll lower the temperature of the heat under it. And we're gonna add our butter. So you don't wanna add your butter too soon when the heat is too high. Otherwise your butter is gonna break down a little bit and then your sauce won't be perfect.
Jeff, do you make a lot of this stuff earlier at night for the restaurant? Are you able to make it beforehand, or do you make it fresh?
I cannot
So
say.
it seemed
Well,
like
I mean, everything is fresh. The only thing that people don't get, and probably, I mean, the other chef will think the same as we think. There is so much organization behind that, you know, my wife, she's always, you know, amazed when we talk about, say, but how you do to get the dish going that fast. It's a lot of prep. It's like little step that people don't think that, you know, when you start cooking at home and cooking in a restaurant, it's totally different. If we were doing that butter, you know, by order, you will wait 30 minutes to have a dish. So take that, we have 30 plus dishes on the menu. You will wait 3 hours to get a regular dinner. So there is a lot that is prepped daily. There is stuff that can be prepped, you know, like portioning and stuff like that. Like can be prepped way before, like, you know, for example, meats and stuff like that. We work a lot with vacuum seal machine, you know, to keep the product fresh and good. There is a lot behind, you know, like it's literally, I mean, I can show you here, for example, that it's the saute freeze right there that we have. You see all of that are cooked daily, pre-cut and everything. So, you know, there is a lot of change compared to what you cook at home and when you cook at a restaurant.
So I added my pineapple in there, so I'm gonna saute my pineapple a little bit just to get them a little bit of color. To help to caramelize the pineapple, give them a little sweet flavor, and I'm gonna help the shrimp as well get even more thick. So that, then I'm gonna add a little white wine. And we're gonna reduce that a little bit.
Okay, somebody just asked, Connie,
Yeah.
want to take
We're gonna lower our heat.
The pineapple going before the one. Yes.
Yes, pineapple go before the wine because we want to give the pineapple a little bit of color and caramelization. So it'll make the pineapple even sweeter. And that's gonna help to break down the spiciness from that butter. So now we can add some of our butter. And again, I just put the heat a little bit lower here, so it's not too strong. And then I'm just gonna make that butter melt slowly. Almost like if you would make a beurre blanc. That butter to melt and just
It looks delicious. So you have to have that little bit of a shake in front of the oven there, in front of the stove.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I put my my heat a little bit lower. You know, right now I'm just melting. You know, that butter is already soft, so it goes pretty fast. When you do that butter in advance, it'll be a little bit harder, so it'll be easier to move around. But right here, it's already, you know, it's already soft. So you want to pretty much make sure that it melts perfectly. Don't forget to test. Not very important. You always want to test your food to make sure it's seasoned.
Yum.
Wow. Feeling the crowd here. So it tastes perfect. You can see the shrimp. Got that nice color. The butter looks great. I always like to add a little more cilantro, almost right at the end, to add that fresh flavor of cilantro. If you cook out your cilantro too early, you're gonna lose some of that beautiful fresh flavor from cilantro. So you want to put it right at the end. You can even put it right at the end as a garnish. So the leaf will stay nice and green. See? So and that's pretty much it, guys. What we're gonna do now, we're just gonna put it in the plate. I got my toasted piece of bread here. I'm gonna get a different spoon. Oh, look at this. I wish you guys had a smell-o-vision at home so you can smell this. So look at that. So I'm gonna take my shrimps. Put it in a bowl here. And again, it's a very easy recipe. Almost flash up in right in the face. It's okay. It's still alive.
It's a super easy recipe. Actually, that recipe, you know, I mean, it's probably like you know, a couple of even that we have that recipe at Padam.
Sauce, guys.
And it's something that, you know, we decided to create after a trip that we did in the Caribbean, that we went in St. Kitts and Nevis, where Team Emirates still have the resort. And, you know, we bring back, you know, a couple of stuff, and we said, okay, let's try to do something a little bit different for here for Florida. And it's one actually of the best seller that we have at the
It's so
restaurant.
great because, like, you know, you have the shrimp, you have the spiciness, the sweetness from the pineapple, the cilantro, and the best part, of course, you know, is the bread right at the end. So that bread can be soaked in that sauce. So I mean, fresh baguette plus that, and come on, guys, super good.
Looks amazing.
Yes, you can add a little bit at a time. When you butter is, I'm reading back that question said, do you add the butter a little bit at a time? You can, like I said, when you reduce your fire right under it, you can actually put your butter a little bit at a time, so it's not a big amount right at a time. Okay, so here's your dish. At the end, you can finish it up some fresh green onion, scallion, and that's it. Very simple.
It looks
There
absolutely.
you go, your Caribbean shrimp with pineapple and a beautiful lime jerk seasoning. I wish you guys could try that, because it smells great.
Chef, one of the questions that were asked during the cooking was, do you add butter a little at a time during cooking?
Yes,
or half?
yes, absolutely. It's a good thing to do. Just like when you make a butter sauce, you don't want to add all your butter at once, otherwise the butter will just separate and just break. So your sauce, you know, if you see the sauce here, the sauce is very smooth. It's not broken. So just like when you make a butter sauce, you want to make sure you add your butter a little bit at a time and make sure that the heat under the pan is not too high, because same thing, if the heat is too high and you add the butter right away, your butter is going to be, it's going to be too much for the butter. So you always want your heat under the pan a little bit lower than when you started.
Well, we're getting a lot of comments. Here's some. I can smell it through the screen. Somebody is drooling over the food, and somebody just took a bite out of their screen.
But that's good, that's good. So, I mean, that is for our recipe. We hope that you enjoy. We hope that everybody staying safe. You know, we are here finally be back to our regular business. And that is for us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You guys tell us a little bit about the hours of your operation. Like what hours are you open at Gather and Fathom right now?
Yeah. So Gather, we open Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 9, and we open Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 9 for brunch. And Fathoms, we open actually at 2 for pizza only until 4, and full menu from 4 to 9.
Very good, very good. And you guys are doing curbside and pickup for those that aren't ready?
Yeah, we're still doing actually, you know, yesterday we do at Fathoms, we do half-price pizza, and we're still doing that to go, half-price to go. We've been, you know, killing it, to be honest. So, you know, we try, you know, we understand that some people are not ready to go out, and that's fine for us. You know, we just want to continue to do what we used to do when we were shut down, only for takeout. So, I mean, you know, still the same. I mean, we encourage people to get to-go food too. So, you know, it's all good.
And you have outdoor seating at all three of your restaurants actually, so that if someone doesn't want to be indoors, they can sit outside.
Yeah, we have at Fathoms and the French Press with cover. So even if rain, you know, you're still okay. Gather we have, but it's a little bit more complicated as we don't have any covered area over there. So, but you're still having, you know, Gather, it's probably all table at 6 feet away inside. Right now we're at 50% capacity. So soon, hopefully, we will go back to 100% capacity, and we will still be able to have tables 6 feet away from each other. So
wonderful.
Because we decided to remove lounges, the lounge area that we used to have, just to put, you know, tables and have make sure, you know, people are 6 feet away.
You guys are doing a great job of keeping us all safe and also keeping our bellies very happy. Thank you. Can we get one more zoomed in picture of that delicious Caribbean jerk chicken or shrimp rather?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That looks amazing. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for putting
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was fun. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I'm disappointed I don't have any in front of me.
I know. I would have loved to have tasted that. That looked incredible. Since we're hosting, I don't get to cook while like some of our other guests today. So that looked amazing. So we're excited to let's talk about our next guest who's coming up next.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Carrie. Connie, tell us a little bit about Carrie.
Carrie Ralston is coming up next, and she's cooking a plant-based taco meat, I believe, for today. And this young lady, she is just amazing in the kitchen. She didn't start out to be a chef. I'll let her tell her story in her own words, but she can cook amazing vegan food, and you'd never know what you're eating is meatless. It is absolutely off the charts delicious. And she's just, you know, doing a great job out there in the community, working with Hope Clubhouse and making sure that she's cooking for the people and the members over at Hope Clubhouse, as well as doing a lot of catering as well with the vegan dishes that she has. So I'm excited to see her in action today. And I'm sure our guests are too. If you're thinking about going vegan, especially right now since meat prices are going sky high and it's harder to find meat in the grocery store, check out this menu she's got prepared for us today.
And what I hear, Connie, is all the people that she feeds, that this is the most requested meal.
Really?
So Carrie, right? I hear that more people want what we're going to get today. So everybody's excited about this. And we are honored to have you as part of our program. And it's your show now. Let's feed us.
Let's switch it over to Carrie.
Perfect. Well, before we begin, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me okay? And then I just got to make sure, let me just flip my camera. I can see. Javier, will you put me full screen so I can see?
Carrie, you are.
I see. Oh, I am? I only see you full screen. Okay. I think I can.
Yeah,
we'll make that.
That's a setting. Carrie, on your computer, you just have to set it to speaker or to yourself. But for you, for us, we see you full screen.
Ah, you do. Shoot. I saw Fathoms perfectly, which bravo. That was amazing. I am, yes.
Screen, honey. Go ahead. Go do your show.
No, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're perfect. Go ahead.
Perfect. So I was saying bravo to Fathoms. Actually, we have our 20-year-old son works at Fathoms, so I will say their food is delicious and we have it here frequently. But what I would love to share with you guys today is one of the most popular dishes that we make at Hope Clubhouse. And for those who don't know what Hope Clubhouse is we are a community of support for individuals that have serious mental illness. So of course, with everything going on with COVID, we have been so busy. And one of the things that we really believe in our whole wellness approach is the food we serve. So we always like to say we serve very veggie forward food. And this meat that I'm about to show you guys today is incredibly veggie forward. It's super good for you. And it is Clubhouse approved. We have made this hundreds of times. And the best part is it's easy to make. It's affordable. And if you love tacos, believe me, I think you're going to love this. So what I'm going to do is flip my camera around so you can see exactly what I am doing. And let's start this off. And by the way, you are in my personal kitchen because I am having to practice physical distancing and cannot go into the office today. So what I have here is, this is just a cast iron pan, and I'm going to get it up to about medium heat. I want to get that nice and hot. And what I'm going to do is start toasting off some of the seeds. So one of the key things is when you're going to use more vegetable-based dishes, you need to make them taste meaty. So what I have in here is just some fennel. I buy everything in bulk because I use fennel seeds and cumin seeds in so many of my dishes, whether it be tacos or whether it be burgers, because it makes everything taste meaty. So that's fennel seed, cumin seed. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of oregano. That's because we're going tacos. Now this is Mexican oregano. It's a little bit stronger than just your regular oregano that you would get at Publix, but it is delicious. I just buy mine off of Amazon. So this is Mexican oregano. And then I'm going to throw in some chili flakes. Now I like to let my spices bloom and toast up because it's just that much flavorful. Adds much more flavor. So it's an easy step and you will be blown away just by doing this, how much flavor you can get out of these seeds. So while that is kind of getting toasty, I'm going to take you over to this side of the kitchen and we are going to make the meat. So actually this is the recipe live in the hallway. And what I'm going to do is just show you guys how easy this is. So these are pretty everyday ingredients. We have a half a head of cauliflower, we have carrots, garlic, and then we have some good old-fashioned pecans. You can also use walnuts, and do not be afraid at the store to buy the ones that are already, what do they call them, chopped, or the pieces, because we're gonna put this in the food processor. But before we do that, I just wanna show you, this is the blade on the food processor you want. It's called the shred blade. If you don't have a food processor, I have two tips. One, you can use a box grater, or the other tip is this little place called Facebook Marketplace. Married couples get these all the time for their weddings. They never use them, and they are always on sale for like between $30 and $50. So if you find yourself, if you are trying to get more veggies in, I would say a food processor is a great investment. So all we're gonna do with our ingredients here, we're gonna take our carrot, cut off the end, I never throw these out. I love to make either stocks with them, and I have dogs and they love them as treats. So I just cut these up into pieces that I'm going to be able to throw into my food processor. And then with the cauliflower, what you'll do here is just cut this in half, because we need to get this core out, okay? And there were some leaves on this. You just rip those off. And when you see the core here, you can just pop that right out. Throw that in your garbage bowl. Same with this one. Throw that in your garbage bowl. Other thing we're gonna do, just chop these once again in half, just so you can fit them in the food processor. Open the lid like so, and then we are gonna turn it on. The first ingredient I wanna put in is actually the pecans, because when we dump this mixture into our pan, I want these to be on the top, because nuts can tend to burn. And we do not want burnt tacos. So you're gonna throw in your pecans or walnuts, whatever you have. I should have had Jeannie, you time me, because this comes together in literally. Oh no, I wanted not to be okay. I wanted to show how fast you can get this comes together. Probably takes about 45 seconds to get everything in. So we'll get our garlic, carrots. We already added our pecans. One roll away here. There we go. Like so. I should have done what everybody at Fathoms did, because they had somebody holding the camera. That nice in there. And then we'll just add the cauliflower. Okay.
You make it look so easy.
And then it really is this, and this, they're designed, all the recipes I make, of course, I make them for individuals that we're trying to get as much nutrients in as possible. But that being said, they have to be easy and they have to be delicious. The members will not, will absolutely not eat something that they don't think is a taco or a burger or whatever we're trying to call it. I can't say it's healthy and they're going to want to eat it. So this is actually a recipe when we show them how to make it, they make on their own in our culinary unit. So all you do here is you take this amazing mixture. So you see the cauliflower, the carrots, and the pecans, and go over. I'm using the cast iron skillet, and we already have all these amazing spices toasted up, our fennel, our cumin, and our chili flakes. And what you'll do is just kind of spoon the mixture in. And even if I can probably sense that somebody's like, how is this going to actually taste like tacos? Wait till I show you the finished product. And it's the spices that we're using that are so key to making this truly taste like meat. So here we go. The last flavoring I'm gonna add in here is some smoked paprika. Smoked paprika, even if you have like a taco packet or a taco seasoning, you'll normally see that ingredient in there. Smoked paprika is also going to help us get kind of that meaty flavor. Then I'm just gonna top it off with a little bit of salt, some sea salt, and some pepper, and we will stir it all up. Am I the only one on here that loves tacos, or is anybody on here, Connie, Jeannie, you guys taco lovers?
I absolutely love tacos. I've never had them. Well, I guess I have had them meatless before. You know, without anything that even tasted like meat. I've had a veggie taco, but I love them with mahi and other things. So I'm excited to see this, to see what I can do to make it a meaty looking taco and tasting taco without having to do the meat.
And it's healthy too.
It's so high in fiber. It's so affordable. And if you really, once you get the method down, you can flavor this any way you want. It could become ground beef for an Italian sauce. You could go Asian with it, stuff it in a dumpling. It is so versatile. But what we're gonna do here is kind of let this, I'm just gonna turn the heat up a little bit, let this get going, and then I wanna show you how to actually make a cheese sauce Now, I didn't include this in the original recipe, but when I timed it out today, I'm like, we can make a cheese sauce. So I will definitely make sure I get this to you, but it's so easy. So what we have here,
it's so good.
you've had, yeah, absolutely. So this is 1.5 cup or 1 cups of, I just got the halves and pieces cashews, and I soaked them in water for about 5 to 10 minutes. I do that because it will soften up the cashews so we can get that creamy texture. Then I'm gonna add, this is called nutritional yeast. Now, Jeannie, based on our conversations, have you heard of nutritional yeast before?
No.
Okay, so nutritional yeast for people that are plant-based or vegan or even a lot of vegetarians. This is the Parmesan cheese of the vegan lifestyle, and it has a great nutty flavor, and it's absolutely delicious. So we're going to have the nutritional yeast, the cashews. We're going to add some water because we're going to want to thin it out. I'm going to add a dash of cayenne pepper, and then you can either, we like it spicy, so that's an optional ingredient. And you can either then add some fresh lemon juice, or what I'm going to do is just add a splash of apple cider vinegar, which is about 2 teaspoons here. And
We have a
you
quick
don't think that,
question.
oh,
Is that
yep.
a cup or a half a cup?
For the nutritional yeast,
Yes,
was that was a 1/4 cup.
1/4 cup.
So it's 1 cup of cashews, a half a cup of water,
Okay.
2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, and then we are going to add some Rotel because we all know that dip that you might make with a big logged cheese. I don't want to say its name, but it starts with a V and ends with a Ida. And you put the Rotel in. This is such a good fake out. So what I do, I just turn on my Vitamix here. Don't want it to be too loud. And you could use your food processor if you don't have a high-speed blender. I have just noticed for nut applications, a Vitamix, it's just going to give it, it'll be a little smoother. And if you do have to use your food processor, you just let it blend a little longer. So this is kind of the texture, right? You can see that yellow texture. And if you need it to be yellower to really fake people out, you just add a little pinch of turmeric. And then you just add 1 can of this good old-fashioned Rotel. And then I do a few pulses. And bada bing, bada boom, you have easy smeezy queso. And I already made one earlier and I haven't plated up. So we will plate that on the taco. But let's get back to the meat really quick. You can hear that it's sizzling and coming together nicely. Total cook time on this is going to take about 15 minutes. And since this is a little shorter of a cooking demo, well, I'll actually show you guys. I made some so you can see how it comes together because I want to show you some different preparations. So this, at this stage too, if you wanted to cook it all the way through, this will freeze beautifully. Like we have used this not only as tacos in my family, but we have turned it into pizzas, nachos, and then of course just fillings in dumplings or on our pasta dishes. So what you'll see here is actually the finished product. Right. Now I know, like, doesn't that look just like meat?
It does.
It's got that texture,
that meaty
right?
texture.
It totally is going to be like a ground beef. I can't tell. It was a happy accident that we created this recipe, and why we did is because we had a donation of I think about 3,000 carrots, and we had to find recipes that we could use carrots for. So this was one that we came up with that we can make it in bulk, that's delicious and freezes well. So what we'll do, I'll show you, I'm going to show one preparation of nachos and then one of our tacos. So I'll just spoon on the mixture. And the great thing is when you're eating plant-based nachos like this, you can make, put on as much toppings as you want because it's good for you. Another thing I love to do, not just at the clubhouse, but instead of using like iceberg lettuce, you know, that you would put on sometimes a taco, I highly recommend just shredding up some cabbage. And all I do is toss this with some lime, a little bit of agave or honey, and then some cilantro. It's so much better for you, and it actually gives such a better texture. Of course, that's a personal preference, but if I can get more nutrients in, I'm going to, and this is delicious. So I just sliced up some simple, just green cabbage, throw that on. And then the toppings are really what is your favorite? So we love tomatoes, do that in our house. We love avocados. And then, of course, we have to use that amazing cheese sauce. So this is what it ended up. Once you plate it up, put it in a bowl. It is just like that. You know what I'm talking about. I can't be the only person that's ever made that rotel and blocked cheese and you melt it together. Huh?
It's very creamy, delicious.
Yeah. Okay, so I can see Pamela's question with the cabbage ingredients. So all I do is you can do this, this is just green cabbage. And then all I put in there was, for this amount, so that's about a cup and a half, I did 2 teaspoons, and I use just, you can use apple cider vinegar, or you can use 2 limes, a little bit of agave, or honey, and then some cilantro. Just chop up some cilantro, and there you have it. I also, one of the things, do you know that cheese you get at Mexican restaurants, that Guajillo cheese?
Mhm.
Is anybody familiar with that? So all the leftover pieces I have of the cauliflower, I chop up, add with a little bit of nutritional yeast, because we eat with our eyes first. So I want it to look as much like tacos that you would get at a restaurant as possible. So that kind of fools the eye. So there's our amazing cheese sauce. Then we're going to, of course, we'll put a little lime on the side, garnish with some fresh cilantro and Guajillo, our cauliflower Guajillo cheese, which is just, once again, the ends of the chopped up. It was just the stuff I had left on my board. And then I toss it with a little garlic salt. And there you have your first ever meat-free, plant-based nachos.
Carrie, that
Looks amazing.
That you won't have to go to the gym for. I mean, you should still go to the gym because it feels good, but these are when gyms reopen. So that is one option. And then the second option I like to do, of course, is a taco. And then we have members that love, of course, corn or flour. What we try to always do, we actually have a member that makes homemade tortillas, but this is just a brand I like. You can get it at Publix, Walmart, Target. So I'll normally serve this at home, and this is my dirty rice. I make a big batch of rice every single Sunday and keep it in the fridge. So this is actually brown rice, even though it looks yellow. It's yellow because I add turmeric. And then in there, I have some black beans and some cilantro and some green olives. You could also add rotel, kind of whatever you like to doctor it up. But one of my secrets to rice is when I make the batch, you can't really see it in there, but there's 1 cup of rice, but there's also a whole head of cauliflower rice. So I call that my 50-50 mix. So you're still getting a great whole grain, but then you're bumping it up with all the extra nutrients from cauliflower. Plus, I do work with people that try to be a low carb, and that is a great way to stretch out rice. So we'll make a fabulous taco here, right in our shell. I mean, does that not look so meaty? Okay, and you can, once again, you do the toppings that you like to do. I love this little tangy slaw, really on anything. It's so delicious. And then what will I do? I love cilantro. And then we have to do a little bit of our cheese sauce. Set that down.
Looks good, Carrie. I've had that meat and the nutritional yeast when you've done your spaghetti bolognese, your bolognese sauce. And it tastes like I'm eating a meat sauce, but there's absolutely no meat in it. It was absolutely delicious.
And that is another fabulous or easy recipe that comes together. Once again, probably another 3 minutes. And then we'll top it with the cheese, maybe a few tomatoes, and there you have it. So if the stores start running out of ground beef, don't worry. You can easily make this beautiful plant-powered, and I call it taco no meat. But there you go. You can see the texture. It looks just like a taco.
Carrie, does it keep you full like meat does?
So as a former definite meat eater, yes, actually you will feel, let me flip it around and answer your question. You'll actually feel more full because what makes you feel full is fiber. And so in vegetables, I think people think it's always protein that fills you up, but the most dense foods that with protein are actually vegetables. That's what animals eat. And then animals are kind of like the conduit, but the fiber is what will just really fill you up and keep you satisfied. So yes. And then say you want to eat an extra taco, it's okay. It's cauliflower and carrots.
Wow.
So you would be absolutely allowed to for low calories. And we didn't add, you notice, we didn't try to add any additional tons of oils or tons of things that you just don't need because you get that from the nuts. You'll get plenty of healthy fats that way.
So it's no guilt eating.
Truly no guilt eating. It's we call it like I said at the clubhouse, veggie forward. In my life, I always call it plant powered. And it's just really about trying to eat as many real foods and not minimal processing as possible. You'll see that the only thing we processed was really just using a food processor or a blender, and the food was in its still natural state, which is always, if I can do that, that's my goal, because that's how you are able to not only digest it better, but you're able to feel better and get maximum energy from it.
Very good. We actually have a question
Yeah.
from Steve down here, if you could see it. He wants to know if you have a restaurant, no, or a personal chef. Tell people how they can get on your list so they can listen to your show, because you actually have an online webinar. Yeah,
so there's a lot of options. And I don't have a restaurant. I don't want to say yet because I really love cooking so much. I don't know if I'd want to do it 24/7, but we host cooking classes at Hope Clubhouse. I also have a community called the Plant Powered Hallway that you can find on Facebook, or you can clearly find us at our website, plantpowered.hallway.com. And that's where not only do I come on and cook, but we have members in the hallway and they come in and teach all kinds of different recipes. But I try to at least come on once a week with some kind of new cooking video and tip that will show how easy it is to get more vegetables in. Because no matter, honestly, what diet you're on, no diet will say, do not eat vegetables. None of them say that. And if somebody has told you that one, then ask me. But none of them that I know of have ever said don't eat vegetables.
Only my husband says that. If it's green, he doesn't like to eat it. But I think we've done really well over the years. He's finally liking a lot more vegetables now, salads, green. I can get him to eat something vegan every now and then as well. So there's hope.
Go, hubby, go, Rick, go. And people always ask me, they're like, "What? Do you only eat salads?" I'm like, I almost never eat salads. And not that I have an issue with salads. I just like warm food. I don't always just like to have salads. So I call it approachable food. And what I encourage anybody, first of all, if you have questions, definitely reach out to me. I'm typically always available, but look at foods that you eat right now. And I guarantee there's easy ways to make them plant-based, or just get more vegetables in and then maybe have some meat on the side versus having the meat be the big thing on the dish.
Well, we enjoyed this presentation, Carrie. Absolutely delicious. You showed us how to make 2 dynamite meals for our family or by ourselves. So we are really, really excited about being able to, I'm sure some people have been cooking with you, but now they can get the video and cook later on with you as well. So thank you for being part of our program today. It was a treat for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and let me talk about the clubhouse and the plant-powered lifestyle. And I look forward to answering anybody's questions. I'm always here.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that has been fun so far. I'm sitting here eating almonds and it's not doing enough. So I'm ready to jump into the screen as well. We have been introduced to 2 phenomenal meals that we just want both. So it's going to be fun. Now we're going to meet, I would say, Naples, Florida's #1 chef, Brian Roland. If you don't know Brian or have not heard his name, then you have not been to Naples. I see him there. He's in the kitchen preparing as I'm speaking. Hi, Brian.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
We are so excited to have you today and to get you for ourselves so we don't have to share. So it's just me and Connie and a couple of our friends.
Love it.
We're excited. You have prepared a phenomenal meal for all of us, and it's a little bit of work, but it looks like it is going to be absolutely delicious, and we are honored to jump in and teach us what you're going to teach us. Connie, you want to introduce us what the meal is?
Well, Brian today is, and by the way, I love you, Brian.
Hi.
Great to have you on today.
Thank you.
Today, Brian is going to make us red wine braised beef short rib ragu. So I know that's a tongue twister for some of you guys, but no doubt, you know, Brian, if I'm sure everybody in this group has seen or met Brian, and if not, has tasted his culinary creations because they are spectacular. But he's creating red wine braised beef short rib ragu made with house-made ricotta, pappardelle pasta, San Marzano tomatoes, torn basil, roasted garlic butter on a toasted baguette or with a toasted baguette. So we are excited, and Jeannie and I are really hungry, Brian, so I hope you're making enough so we can have some catered to our house afterwards.
Brian, these almonds are not
Absolutely.
making it. The almonds are not making it today.
Would you like to share some news? Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, Brian.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Brian Rowlands, and my wife Nicole is behind the camera over there.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi.
So, we own Crave To Go Catering and Events. We're a full-service catering company. We do everything from cooking class, food and wine pairings, all types of catering. We just recently, well, aside from that, we own Venue Naples. It's an event venue in North Naples where we host events. Matter of fact, tomorrow night is our first social distancing event that we're doing with Maddie Jolly. It's a dinner and a show where we're spreading out tables 6 feet apart. We've got about 68 tickets sold, which is just unbelievable. And we own a staffing company called Crave Event Staffing, where we supply the community with chefs, bartenders, servers, sommeliers, anything service, hospitality industry related. And most recently, we have had to convert our business, as most have, into what COVID-19 has now created for us, which is our Crave To Go program. We launched it last year when the hurricane came through, and we decided to expand on it this time. So we're doing meal service, meal delivery service in your home. You can do pickup or delivery. We have a very extensive menu, and we've partnered with a lot of great other partners in the community, including Norman Love and Epiphany Gluten-Free Bakery, and Stero Bay Olive Oil, and Juicelation, and Belgian Yummies, and Lander Bread. We've got a lot of really great partners where you can come right onto our website, craveculinaire.com/crave2, the number 2, go. And you can see our Crave Pantry and our Crave To Go platform there, and order any of those other goodies, and they get delivered right to your doorstep 2 times a week. So we're excited about what we're doing now, and we are also excited. We just opened up a restaurant last week. It is currently only for residents. They are going to allow guests once this kind of passes, and then all of you, of course, are going to be our guests. So we'll welcome you into the restaurant. It's called Zest at Valencia Bonita. So I want to start kicking it off here.
Brian, say that name a little slower, so I want to hear it.
So the name is, it's unique. So the community is called Valencia Bonita, and Nicole came up with the cute name, Valencia being the variety of an orange, and she came up with Zest, Z-E-S-T, so like the outside zest of the orange. So we say that Zest is the flavor of life for Valencia Bonita. And so we open indoor dining this coming Wednesday. So we're really excited to get that started and head down the path that we were already starting to journey down right as COVID came and took over, and it forced us to shut the doors before we could even open them. So we have a lot to do today. With the magic of TV, I'm going to take you through a few of the processes, and as we go, I have a further produced part of the dish that I'm going to show you. So I've already begun cutting what we call in French mirepoix, and that is carrots, onions, and celery. It's about 25% carrot, 25% celery, and 50% onion. We're going to take a medium-sized saute pan here. We're going to get a little bit of olive oil going in there. And I'm going to show you this beef short rib here. So there's our short rib. Located in the center of the cow. It's a muscle that is utilized a little bit. It's a little further down, closer to one of the legs. So as the animal walks through the pasture and is grazing in the pasture, you know, it begins to build muscle. Just like when we go to the gym and we start to build muscle as well, those parts of the body are a little tougher if you were to just quick cook them and eat them, unlike maybe a beef tenderloin or filet mignon or a ribeye, maybe even a New York strip, which can just be quick cooked and enjoyed, because those are in parts of the body that are not utilized. They're underutilized muscles, whereas the short rib is one that definitely yields better result when you braise it. So we're going to do a method called braising today. So we're going to season our short rib with a little bit of salt and pepper, with our cute little cheese wheel here that we use to store salt that we got in Italy. Isn't that adorable? All right, so we've got our seasoned short rib. We've got a medium to high heat here. We're gonna go ahead and get our short rib in there and begin the searing process. Man, I don't know if you can smell that. If that smells delicious already, we're starting to create what's called a fond, F-O-N-D. It is the layer of caramelization that you're going to find on the bottom of your pan. It develops a lot of flavor. The sugars that are in the protein start to change color. The amino acids convert, and the sugars start to really get a nice browning on them. So that browning is going to help us develop our sauce. It's going to help us develop flavor. And it's also, we're sealing in those juices right now and giving it a little bit of texture. So we're going to let that go right now. It's going to take a few minutes. And in the interim, I'm going to start on our ricotta recipe. So we're going to make a fresh ricotta. We won't have the ability to let it go overnight. However, we'll just show you what we do here. So hopefully you all got the recipe so you can follow along with the amounts that we've got. That's 32 ounces of milk. And that's about 8 ounces of heavy cream. And what we're looking to do here is bring this just under a boil. You really don't want to boil this. You don't want to scald it. So you're letting it go just under a boil. As that comes up in temperature, we're going to remove it from the heat, and we're going to add lemon juice to it. You can do this with lemon juice. You can do this with white wine vinegar. But we chose to do lemon juice. I like the flavor of lemon juice. And what we're looking to do is, as we remove it from the heat, the acidity is going to force the milk and the cream to separate. And we're going to have, what's left, we're going to have the curds and the whey. I know that's like a nursery rhyme that talks about curds and whey. I don't remember else.
Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. That's right. So we separate the curds and whey, and then we're going to set up a strainer with a piece of cheesecloth. That's our cheesecloth, nice and fine cheesecloth here. It actually helps if you wet it lightly. So I'm going to wet it. Now we're going to open it back up and cover our strainer now. And we're going to just put it over top of, this is called a bain-marie. You can use a bowl, you can use any kind of vessel to hold that strainer in place. All right, you can see, we've got a nice caramelization here on our short rib now. I used a larger flake sea salt. That's what you're seeing there. So we're going to turn it over. Let that continue to cook there. All right, in the meantime, we're going to lower our milk and our cream a little bit. Let's go around over here. Join me at the table. So, brought home our makeshift pasta wooden table here. All right, so what I have here is, can you guys hear okay with the sound of that short rib?
Good,
Yeah.
everything's good.
Everything's good.
All right. So I have what's called 00 flour. So this particular flour is 00 means the fineness of the grind. So it's the lowest setting that you can have for a flour grind. So it's extremely finely ground, which is going to yield a softer and really delicious pasta. I've got some salt here. We're going to add as well. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a little well in the middle here. That well is going to catch our eggs. We've got some farm fresh eggs here. There are all types of recipes for pasta out there. You'll see recipes that use a yolk. You'll see recipes that use both the yolk and the white. This particular one, just an easy one to use. We're going to use the yolk. I'm sorry, we're going to use the whole egg. All right. So now we're going to start scrambling our egg in the middle here. And we're going to start incorporating, what's that?
I have never seen this before. This is incredible.
Yeah. So we're going to start incorporating a little bit of flour in here while we're doing this. Now, a much easier way to do the pasta would be for you to put it inside what's called a RoboCoupe or a food processor, and it will do all this kind of agitation that I'm doing now with the fork really quickly. But I thought above the board chamber is extremely important to me, so I'm going to give them the best of the best here. We're going to do it from scratch and by hand.
You're awesome, Ryan. You're awesome.
So we're going to continue to add our flour to it here. It's going to continue to absorb the flour, and you're going to start to see a dough forming.
This is amazing.
Now, if your dough is a little bit wet, you add a little bit more flour. If your dough is a little bit dry, you can add a little bit of water to it. All right, but really all we're looking to do now is start to incorporate our flour. We're going to form a dough here as it absorbs that moisture. So it's going to start looking like it's crumbly. You can see it's creating little crumbles here. Turn down, turn off that. Yeah. All right, so now you can see as I push my hands together, I'm starting now to form a dough ball. It may seem a little bit dry right now, but we're actually looking to develop the gluten. And by doing this, by kneading it, they always, right, kneading the dough, we're going to now start that development process. So I'm taking one side, I'm folding it over, and I'm pushing it down. Taking one side, folding it over, pushing it down. As I'm doing that, it's going from really dry to now sort of wet. So I'm moving around on the table. I'm trying to pull as much of the flour, that's the residual flour that's left on the table, into my dough here. And now I'm just going to start working it and working it and working it. And we're forming a really beautiful dough now that after a few minutes of work, we're going to take, I would go a little bit further here, but we're going to ball it up and we're going to put it in a bowl. And I like to put a little bit of olive oil over it and cover it completely with plastic wrap. Okay, that can go in the refrigerator for at least an hour. Because you're working that dough, you're working the gluten in it, you really want to allow for it to rest. Okay, and once it's rested, you end up with our nice rested dough here. So, I'm going to wash my hands for a quick second here. We're going to go over to the stove and take a look at our short rib. We'll come right back to our pasta. Okay. So now we have our beautifully seared short rib, right? We've done all 4 sides here. And we're gonna pull that off to the side. In our same pan now, using the beef fat, using the oil that we initially put in there, we're going to take our mirepoix, carrots, onion, and celery, and we're gonna start caramelizing those in the pan. So you want the temperature to be medium to high heat now. And we're adding all of our vegetables in. So we're going to continue now cooking that down. We're going to caramelize that. We're looking to get a nice brown color and a beautiful depth of flavor in there. And then we're going to add a little bit of tomato paste to it, cook that out even further. And then finally, we're going to add some red wine to it. Garlic and thyme will also be in there in a few minutes here. And when the red wine is reduced, we then take our beef broth, we add our beef broth, and then put our short rib back in. And then we're going to go into the oven. You're going to cover it and go into the oven. Short ribs can go, really depends on, it's all about time and temperature. So when you're braising something, you want it to be at a low temperature for a longer period of time. We have methods that we use in modern cuisine called sous vide cooking. We're not going to get into that with this class, but we can actually cook things for up to 48 hours to 72 hours at a very, very low and precise temperature. But for home use, we're going to just braise this off probably about 3 hours. We have a lot of almonds eating to go for 3 hours without eating. So hope you're ready. All right, so our short rib, we're caramelizing here. We would add our tomato paste. Again, I would have let that go for probably a good 15 minutes there, but I just want to be able to show you guys these steps as we go. A couple of garlic cloves and some fresh thyme. All right, we're just going to let that caramelize down for a little bit. All right, back to our pasta. So I am flouring my surface. We're going to take our pasta dough. If you want to cut off a section. And the trick in using one of these pasta machines is you don't want the dough to be too wet, don't want it to be too dry. But what you need to do is sort of knead it a little bit here to create a section that will fit right in here. All right. So we pull that down. So what I'm doing here with my hands is I'm just going to kind of press it out until I've got it at a good size, right? So that's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for it to be able to fit through here. This dial on the pasta machine goes all the way from 0 up to, I believe, 8 on this particular machine. And all that does is it takes the rollers that are in here and it spreads them out. So I'm making it all the way on 1 now, actually, on my machine, which is the widest. And I'm going to start now to hand crank this pasta dough through. Okay, so we go through once. We're going to fold it like a book. Okay, one side of the book over, the other side of the book over, and we're going to knead it together again. Spread it out, and we're going to go right back through. Okay, we would do that again, although in the efforts of time here, of saving time, I'm going to run it through one more time here. All right, and now we're going to start by pulling those wheels in a little bit. So now I'm on setting number 2, and I'm going to run it through again. And as I do that now, it's flattening this pasta even a little bit further. Now I'm on number 3. And as we go through here, I'm going to skip to 5 now to get it even finer. And depending on what type of pasta you're making, will determine how thin that you want your ultimately how thin you want your pasta to be. All right, so you can see it's getting longer and longer, thinner and thinner. A little bit earlier, I took a piece and I put it all through already, right? And so now what I'm going to do with this is I'll cut this. Maybe the knife behind me.
Press it?
Yeah. Thank you. Let's kill that one more time. All right, and so we're gonna I'm making pappardelle. So depending on the size and the length of the pappardelle that you're looking to do, you would then roll your pasta out that far at work and then cut it the length that you're looking for. So I'm gonna cut into 2 sections here. I'm gonna square off the ends. So I have now 2 nice, even sections. And for pappardelle, you know, I like my pappardelle a little bit thicker. We're just gonna cut these sections here, right? And fold those into a little nest. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and there we have our pappardelle. Now, we went to the store, and just for you all at home, Seat to Table has a beautiful fresh pasta section, and so we bought some as well, just to kind of show you, you know, what they provide. So if you don't have the time to make your own fresh pasta, you can certainly get it from the store. All right, so as we look in here now, our vegetables, you can see some good color forming here, right? That tomato paste has been cooking nicely. The acidity's cooking out here. So we're gonna add our red wine now. Okay, we're gonna let that reduce a little bit. Make sure we take all that flavor that we developed in the bottom of the pan, and we're trying to actually, when you deglaze, you're trying to pull all that flavor on the bottom up into the wine now.
We had a question.
Yeah.
The Seat to Table pasta is available at Seat to Table. That's a grocery store in Naples.
Yes, North Naples off of Immokalee.
But I'm sure you can get it in Fresh Market or other places if you're in Fort Myers.
Like Whole Foods?
Whole Foods for sure. And yeah, Whole Foods, Fresh Market, maybe even select Publixes.
Yeah.
Looks good.
That's amazing. Does he cook like this at home every night?
She actually does a lot of the cooking, to be honest. You know, when you cook all day, sometimes it's kind of hard to come home and do that. My dad's a dentist, and I used to, you know, make the same reference. Like, Dad, you brush your teeth when you get home, or you because you're brushing others all day. Anyway, so we're gonna add our lemon juice now to the ricotta. All right, we're going to turn the heat off. Just gonna push that to the back here, and we're gonna let it do its magic. That's now going to begin to separate the curds in the whey. All right.
We have another question. Someone's asked if there's a particular red wine you like to cook with, or just any red wine.
So honestly, you know, if you're drinking wine with dinner, doesn't hurt to pour a little bit of that in there. That's kind of called the bridge method, when you cook with the wine that you're actually going to be enjoying. And the flavors can actually develop nicely and create a nice pairing if you're looking for that experience. But you know, if you're doing some sort of a braise, you know, like some of the more tannic and structured Barolo Italian wines are really good. Even a nice, you know, California Cab works really well. But I would typically go with something a little bit more powerful in flavor. You're looking to, sorry, I wouldn't use anything really light, like a light Spanish wine or like a Pinot Noir. It can be done, but typically I like to go with something a little bit more, with a little bit more depth. All right, I'm adding my beef stock now. You can buy regular beef broth if you want at the store. All right, and then we're gonna take our short rib and we're gonna submerge it right inside that liquid. So you're looking to actually cover at least 3/4 of the short rib with the liquid. All right, so you want that liquid to rise all the way up above. So if it's not in the pan that you're in, you want to go into a little bit more of a shallow pan and make sure again that that liquid is fully covering. All right, and then we would stick a cover on top and just go right into an oven. And I like to do this at about 300 degrees for about, like I said, 3 hours or so. All right. So what we ended up doing is I have a piece of short rib that was already braised. And you can see here that finished product. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to start to shred the meat. You can do this by hand. You can start by using the knife if you want, right? So it's because it's been braised, really they call it fork tender, right? So you can pull this apart into little shreds, right? So we're going to shred that into the size that we desire here. And this is what's going to kind of be the foundation of the ragu. All right, so again, this has been braised for about 3.5 hours or so at roughly 300. You can go lower temp for a longer period of time. All right, so there's our short rib. So next, I'm gonna get another saute pan here real quick. All right, so on high heat now, we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil. And we're gonna get a little bit of onion and garlic sweating in the pan once our oil comes up to temperature. Okay, we're going to add our onion. This has been minced or finely diced. We're going to add our garlic. Start to hear music here in 1 second. There we go. In the meantime, I'm going to salt the water that we have boiling here. It's going to be for our pasta. Now, trick about cooking pasta, if you're doing fresh pasta, you can take a fresh pasta and completely dry it, and then I'll give you a dry pasta. But what we find is that if you allow for pasta to dry for about 20 minutes or so before you use it, you can dry even further than that if you'd like. It will help you with cooking a little bit more evenly. So because I had rolled out that sheet prior to coming onto camera, I gave you enough time, and I can feel that this pasta has just the perfect amount of dryness to it. Oh, I wish you could smell this. Awesome. Garlic and onions, my absolute favorite. Okay, we're gonna add our shredded meat now. We're going to deglaze a little bit of red wine here.
It's in the bottom drawer. Yeah.
See, now we see who the real cook is.
It might be in the dishwasher, actually.
I think you're right. I'm going to use this one. Okay. Reducing now. While that's reducing, I'm going to add my fresh pasta now into the boiling water. It's very important when you're putting fresh pasta or any pasta into water that the water is boiling when you put it in. I like to season the water prior to putting the pasta in, and you don't want to crowd the pasta water. If you have too much pasta in there and it doesn't have enough room to be able to kind of float throughout, you'll end up with pasta that kind of congeals together and it sticks to one another. And we're looking for a nice evenly cooked pasta. Okay, we're going to add some of our tomatoes now. These are San Marzano tomatoes that you can get. Most supermarkets have San Marzanos. All right, I have, these happen to be whole peeled tomatoes. I'm gonna break them up a little bit as they're cooking here. And we're just gonna let that hang out here and cook. And what you're left with afterwards, and we'll go Magic at TV here, is this beautiful ragu that we're gonna let it warm up here. Okay, the pasta will float, and that's typically when you know it's pretty much ready. How are we doing on time?
We're pretty much out, but that's okay.
All right, we're just about finished here. We're going to show you the final plate up. Beauty of cooking at home is that we're in the comfort of our home. The downside is most of the time I don't have all the equipment I'm used to having at the restaurant. We're going to do the best we can. So I'm just going to take the pasta out with my tongs now. We're going to go right into our ragu.
Oh, goodness.
Then you just want to kind of heat everything throughout. And now we'll go for plate up here. It's easier to come here. Can you see it there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, that looks good. Jeannie, I'll race you over there.
I'll tell you. I'll bring the wine. And that looks absolutely delicious.
Okay, we've got a couple of garnishes here. Got a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano at the top. Some fresh basil. I like to just do torn basil. And of course, our finished ricotta cheese here. So again, after we've strained it, you can see the thickness of it there, right? So that's the curd there. I happen to love ricotta, so I'm gonna put a couple extra pieces there, and we'll finish with.
Presentation is everything. Look at that.
Oh my God.
There we have it.
Oh, Brian, that is looks delicious.
So good.
Thank you very much. That was fun. That was tight to do all of that in 30 minutes, but hopefully you guys kind of got the idea of what we're aiming for, and we hope you learned something.
Well,
And we hope that we get a chance to cook for you. Once this COVID thing kind of passes, you know, our passion is to do in-home dinners and catered events, and we're doing them now. So if you want to stay at home still and you're not really feeling comfortable about going out into restaurants yet, we're your guys. Give us a call.
Well, that was absolutely amazing, and we cannot thank you and the rest of our chefs enough for being part of our first program today to work with chefs. It was really important with the Above Board Chamber to do stuff for our restaurants and our chefs and show them off a little bit. And you had done a phenomenal job today, and sharing your kitchen, sharing your gifts. One of the things I tell everybody at our Above Board Chamber meetings each month is when we're born into this world, God gives us gifts, but they're not gifts till we give them away. And so thank you for giving away your gift today of cooking this delicious meal, you and the other chefs, because it was amazing. It's amazing. Connie and I are just ready to jump into there, right, Connie? What do you think?
Looks absolutely amazing. My daughter just came out and said, Mom, we're gonna have to order some dinner now, because she's overhearing a little bit from the other room, and it's just everything just today Spot on, Brian. That looks amazing. And Nicole, thank you for being the camera woman today.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
The chemistry of food, you know, you put the right things together and it's amazing what you can come up with. And making the pasta and all those different things, like when you read the recipe, it's like looks a little tough, but watching you and teaching us how to do it, you made it look so much easy and fun at the same time. So
you know what? That's what cooking's all about. It's about feeding your passion, and at least for me, and having fun. Having fun in the kitchen. You know, Nicole and I get a chance to cook in the kitchen together sometimes, and when we're in sync with each other, it is so much fun. When she's got her mind on a recipe or I've got my mind on a recipe, it's like, okay, I'll be done here in 10 minutes, then you can come to the kitchen. This is my domain for a short period of time here. Normally, I'm the one intruding on her because she's super focused in here. But when we're in sync, it's so much fun to cook with a loved one, cook with a friend. You're tasting, maybe drinking a little wine while you're doing it, and you can really have a lot of fun in the kitchen. So.
well,
And if you mess something up, you can always fix it. There's always ways to fix your recipe by adding salt or acid or anything like that. So don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Or a little more wine, right?
Exactly.
well, this again, Brian, thank you. And our other chefs, I don't know if they're still on with us, but just want to thank them all for being part of our first program. We actually have some more coming up. I also want to thank Janet Moore for being our sponsor for the program from BKS Partners. And of course, our lovely Connie Ramos Williams, who's always adds that perfect flavor to wherever she's at and helping us bring this all together. And I can't thank everybody enough. We have some new meetings that are coming up in the month of June. June 11th, we have company culture. We have 5 top businessmen in Southwest Florida. They're going to talk about new expectations of customers and what they expect and how to do our businesses better. With all the political things going on June 18, we're doing Meet the Candidate for people that are running for Congress. We're going to bring them all together and listen to them and find out who we should vote for. And June 25th, we are having our next celebrity chef creation. So we are excited. We have 3 new chefs that are going to be coming in. I don't know if they can beat you 3 because it's going to be a tough act to follow. But we're going to.
It's a competition. They're all amazing.
I know. But we got to get back out because we got to go to the restaurants. But thank you so much. And Javier is our Wizard of Oz. We call him the Wizard of Oz at the Above Board Chamber because he's always in the back, but he's making everything work perfectly. So, and he's the guru for all websites at Connie's business, at Convict PR and Marketing. Like I said, he does our website, and we are blessed to have these as members. Brian, you shouldn't be allowed to eat that in front of us.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Wait, hold on. Let me get that drool that I have on my side right now.
But want everybody to know that's listening, this video, I'm going to be sending this out once it's ready to all of you. I know there's some people that couldn't make it because they were working. They will be watching it tonight. And if you didn't get the ingredients, we will make sure you get them. And thank you again for everybody for being part of the Above Board Chamber's first celebrity creation. Brian, God bless.
Thank you.
Bon appetit.
Great to see you, Brian.
You too.
Have a great day and enjoy that.
Thank you. Fruits of our labor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nicole's a lucky lady there. I know she's going to be getting some of those leftovers.
He doesn't look like he's sharing. He looks like he's enjoying it. So, Brian, do you need to go cook tonight?
Yeah, I got to head over to the restaurant now. I came home so I could do this, and now I'm going over to the restaurant.
Well,
Thank you. Thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeannie, for having me on today as well. I enjoyed co-hosting this with you and look forward to participating with more Above Board Chamber events. Bye-bye.